The Guantanamo Bay detention camp is a detainment, interrogation, and torture facility run by the United States government, established in 2002 by the Bush administration to hold detainees it had determined to be connected with opponents on the global war on terror.
Peace. My name is Yassine Bey, and I'm here today to demonstrate the standard operating procedure for force-feeding detainees at Guantanamo Bay. Good morning.
This is a letter written by Samir Naji Al-Hassan Mukbel, titled Letter from Guantanamo Bay. Gitmo is killing me. One man here weighs just 77 pounds, another 98. Last thing I knew, I weighed 132, but that was a month ago. I've been on a hunger strike since February 10th and have lost well over 30 pounds. I will not eat until they restore my dignity. I've been detained at Guantanamo for 11 years and 3 months. I have never been charged with any crime. I have never received a trial. No one seriously thinks I'm a threat, but I'm still here. Years ago, the military said I was a guard for Osama bin Laden, but this was nonsense. They don't even seem to believe it anymore, but they don't seem to care how long I sit here either. When I was at home in Yemen in 2000, a childhood friend told me that in Afghanistan I could do better than the $50 a month I earned in a factory and support my family. I'd never really traveled and knew nothing about Afghanistan, but I gave it a try. I was wrong to trust him. There was no work. I wanted to leave, but had no money to fly home. After the American invasion in 2001, I fled to Pakistan like everyone else. The Pakistanis arrested me when I asked to see someone from the Yemeni embassy. I was then sent to Kandahar and put on the first plane to Gitmo. Last month, on March 15th, I was sick in the prison hospital and refused to be fed. A team from the ERF, the Extreme Reaction Force, a squad of 8 military police officers in riot gear, burst in. They tied my hands and feet to the bed. They forcibly inserted an IV into my hand. I spent 26 hours in this state, tied to the bed. During this time, I was not permitted to go to the toilet. They inserted a catheter, which was painful, degrading, and unnecessary. I was not even permitted to pray. I will never forget the first time they passed the feeding tube up my nose. I can't describe how painful it is to be force-fed in this way. As it was thrust in, it made me feel like throwing up. I wanted to vomit, but I couldn't. There was agony in my chest, throat, and stomach. I had never experienced such pain before, and I would not wish this cruel punishment upon anyone. I'm still being force-fed. 2 times a day, they tie me to a chair in my cell. My arms, legs, and head are strapped down. I never know when they will come. There are so many of us on hunger strike now that there aren't enough qualified medical staff members to carry out the force feedings. Nothing is happening at regular intervals. During one force feeding, the nurse pushed the tube about 18 inches into my stomach, hurting me more than usual because she was doing things so hastily. I called the interpreter to ask the doctor if the procedure was being done correctly or not. It was so painful that I begged them to stop feeding me. The nurse refused to stop feeding me. When they come to force me into the chair, if I refuse to be tied up, they call the ERF team. So I have a choice. Either I can exercise my right to protest my detention and be beaten, or I can submit to painful force feeding. The only reason I am still here is that President Obama refuses to send any detainees back to Yemen. This makes no sense. I'm a human being, not a passport, and I deserve to be treated like one. I do not want to die here, but until President Obama and Yemen's president do something, that is what I risk every day. Where is my government? I will agree to whatever it takes in order to be free. I am now 35. All I want is to see my family again and to start a family of my own. The situation is desperate now. All of the detainees here are suffering deeply. At least 40 people here are on a hunger strike. People are fainting with exhaustion every day. I have vomited blood, and there is no end in sight to our imprisonment. Denying ourselves food and risking death every day is the choice we have made. I just hope that because of the pain we are suffering, the eyes of the world will once again look to Guantanamo before it is too late.
My name is Yassine Bey, and I'm just taking part in a demonstration with standard operating procedure for force-feeding detainees at Guantanamo Bay. Peace and good morning.